Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Mr. Acting Speaker, me like this time long, ask him a series of questions. He gonna Prime Minister. Questions from me, in relation to free power supply from Indonesia, from Jayapura in Indonesia. Mr. Speaker, as I'm standing here speaking, in the last 3 days, Indonesia has been putting up power pylons in my Wutun village on the border of Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Mr. Acting Speaker, provision of power or electricity, provision of water supply and telecommunications is the sovereign responsibility and obligation by an independent state of any country. We as a government are responsible to provide those essential services. These essential services are actually economic enablers of our country. We have placed so much emphasis on Connect PNG, but we have not placed emphasis on power supply, water supply, and telecommunication in our country. Mr. Acting Speaker, I have stood here many times and I have been vocal on the issue of sovereignty and national security. I have raised concerns about Indonesian encroaching into our territorial waters and our land boundaries. I have raised issue about Indonesia building naval base in our territorial waters at the mouth of River Torasi in Western Province. I have raised issue about Indonesia building infrastructure and military base in River Tami and all the way to Wutong village. We as a government have not addressed those issues. And now we have gone and made agreement with Indonesia to supply free power to the people of Wutong. Mr. Acting Speaker, by this decision, this government has compromised our sovereignty and our national security. By this decision, and the worst, Mr. Speaker, we have allowed free power to be supplied to the people of Wutong. At what?
Honorable member, we have a point of order.
Just to put things in perspective, PNG Power and even the government has not reached any agreement whatsoever on any power deal. There is just a proposal that's on the table. There are so many issues, international, many issues that are yet to be resolved. So we have not agreed yet, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Minister, your point of order is in order, but I will ask the honorable member to continue on from the question he asked. It's the Prime Minister who will respond. And if it's the case that you have answered, the Prime Minister can respond on that. Honorable member of Vanimo-Green, I would ask you to make your statement short and go straight to your question.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Mr. Acting Speaker, at what cost? At what cost have we as a country allowed another country to come and provide a service that we are supposed to provide to our people? We have allowed them to encroach into our land borders. We have allowed them to build infrastructure in our territorial waters. We have done nothing about it. And now we have gone and begged them to supply power to us, which is our sovereign obligation. And Mr. Speaker, for me, this is an unimaginable decision and a very sensitive decision. My questions, therefore, are, who gave approval for Indonesia to supply power to Wutong border? Who gave the approval? I want the Prime Minister to tell this House. Secondly, where the sovereignty and the national security issues and their implications and ramifications considered prior to making this decision? Thirdly, why wasn't I, as the local MP, where this electorate comes under my jurisdiction, and my office and my District Development Authority Board, not consulted in the discussions to engage or to allow Indonesia to supply power? Why wasn't I involved in these discussions? I would have given a better advice to the government on the implications of sovereignty and national security issues. What if the Indonesians encroach and we raise issue? Tomorrow they'll shut down the power for us. And Mr. Speaker, my fourth question: have we just sold our land, our people, and our country to another government? Mr. Speaker, by this action, are we admitting to our people and to the global community that we are incapable, and I said we are incapable of providing essential services to our people? Mr. Speaker, I have spent 1.9 million to do a complete costing of a mini hydro. Complete costing of a mini hydro. 1.9 million from my DSIP. And it will cost about 40 million kina, less than 50 million, to produce 3.3 to 5 megawatts of power. And by assessment, that's enough power to supply provincial headquarters Vanimo all the way to Wutong border. I'm not asking for much. I've submitted all these proposals to national planning 2 years ago. I understand that there has been 40 million allocated and nothing has come to my district. Why can't the national government just give that 40 million, allow me to build that mini hydro, so I will kill two birds with one stone? Provide electricity and water supply to my people.
Honorable Governor, we have a point of order. Honorable Member for Vanimo-Green, we have a point of order. Honorable Minister, what's your point of order?
Mr. Acting Speaker, the assertion that we budgeted 40 million for a specific hydro project in Vanimo is not true and should not be on record. I'm not aware of a budget allocation that we set aside 40 million and we did not fund that particular project. So just wanted to correct that, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, Honorable Minister, your point of order is in order. Last, Honorable Member, we already have run out on time on.
Mr. Acting Speaker.
You will need a good reply from the Prime Minister. So
yes, Mr. Acting Speaker. A good national planning minister must check his records that there is money from European Union earmarked 40 million. Go and check your records if my reading is not right. But Mr. Acting Speaker, what I'm basically saying is that we can provide these essential services ourselves. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, my two last questions is that I will ask the Prime Minister to immediately withdraw power supply to Wutong. We cannot allow another country to come in and encroach into our territory and supply the services that we are supposed to supply for our people. Mr. Speaker, I am prepared. If we stop power supply to Wutong, I am prepared to lose my political support in Wutong over my sovereignty and over my dead body. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.